Cell phones are a newer invention that have come around and changed just the way that we live our daily lives. I wonder, each person, what category of your life does your phone fit into? So personally, it fits into almost all of the categories of my life. I keep in touch with my family and friends through it. I use it for school. I use it for entertainment, social media. I shop on it. There's so many different things that it affects and so many different ways that it is in my life. So with newer generations coming along, how do we raise them up with this idea of cell phones and with the way that it affects us? I got a phone when I first entered high school, but I've witnessed a lot of different ways that, or a lot of different experiences that people have had with cell phones. So I believe that children should not get phones till they are 14 because of experts' opinions on the way that it affects mental development, and just the personal observations that I've had of people's experiences around me. So first of all, experts say that children should not have a phone till they reach a certain age of mental maturity. I've seen the effects of phones on kids that I babysit, younger kids that I babysit have iPads, and even though it's not a cell phone, it still runs in the same aspects of it. And they just don't have the same childhood that we used to have, and obviously things are always developing, but it has affected just their social skills, the way that they interact with people around them. It has just affected how they spend their time. They sit watching movies. They always need to be entertained. They don't go a day without wanting to be on their iPad and just constantly playing games. And then other people that I babysit for are in middle school aged and young high school, and they got phones late elementary school, early middle school, and just the boys, they can't do anything without their phones. They always have to have it. It's like a security thing. They always need to be with it. And the younger girl, she just always has to be on it, always has to be in touch with people. And it's hurt her self-esteem and just her confidence in who she is because of the constant comparison that these phones bring. So I've seen the effects that has had on them and just their own mental development. Websites like Pinwheel, BBC, and Child Mind Institute say that at young ages your mind isn't fully developed to be able to compensate for the amount of screen time and just the way that it affects your minds. And a couple of stats that just show how uneducated we are on the mental development is that 42% of kids have a phone by age 10 and 91% by age 14. 16% of parents think that it's fine to let their kids have one by the age of 9, or as young as 9. And these stats come from the Child Mind Institute, so it just kind of shows the lack of education that we have about how phones affect our mental development. I personally didn't get a phone until 16, and I am very appreciative of that. It didn't hurt anything for me. There were a couple times my parents ran late that they didn't get to text me because I didn't have a phone. That I could use other people's phones, and overall I was completely fine, and I completely respect their decision. If I could go back, I would ask for my parents to raise me the same way, to not have a phone until I entered high school, so around 14 years old. Secondly, we can see the effects that it has in real life examples. My group of friends, so a group of senior girls, it will come up frequently, probably once a week, how much we wish we didn't rely on our phones. We talk about how much more productive we would be if we could just put down Instagram Reels or put down TikTok and focus on our homework, focus on things that are really going to grow our minds and impact our future instead of sitting and scrolling on our phones. We see how it affects our mental health, how it brings anxiety and depression, how it affects our self-esteem because of constant comparison, and our minds can never settle down because we always keep it going with our phones. So I've seen the effects that this has had on real girls that comment on this many times, and that we talk about it very frequently. We will go to camp. About once a summer I'll go to a camp, and we don't get our phones during that time. At first everyone gets their phone gone, and the first 2 days you catch yourself reaching for it when you're bored or when you don't know what to do, when you don't know people around you. You catch yourself reaching for your phone because that's your safety net. But then by the end of the week, when you get your phones back, no one wants them because everyone's come to really enjoy not having them. And my friends often say, oh, it would just be so nice just to live in that and just living in not having a phone and not having this thing that to keep up with all the time. But sadly, or for good reasons too, phones do exist and they're a reality that we must live with. But it's about keeping the good traits of it and letting the good outweigh the bad. So parents should not allow their kids to have phones until they are around the age of 14 because of the cognitive effects that it has and the real life examples that we can see all around us, because I know that my examples are not the only ones that we know of. And as I said, phones can be used in amazing ways. They connect me with family that lives far away, and I'll be able to keep up with friends when I go to move away one day, and I'll be able to keep up with people, and it's amazing. But we have to use them for good, and we have to be educated about the effects that they have on our minds, so that we do not use phones in immature ways.